The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website renewdaily.com. Judy note, Trump and the global military alliance's takedown of the Satan-worshipping, child-sacrificing cabal and restoration of freedom concepts of the original Constitution was in full swing worldwide. Day 1, Sunday 4th of May Trump activated Operation Liberty Shield. Day 2, Monday 5th of May Trump boarded Air Force One, where he ordered troop deployment to border, strikes on Mexican cartel, economic warfare against China and a restoration of the Constitution. Day 3, Tuesday, 6th of May Trump and team took down the CIA and moved to a blackout mode. Day 4, Wednesday 7th of May Trump scheduled to make big announcement 11 a.m. EST. Day 5, Thursday 8th of May EBS activation, restored Republican 10 days of exposure begin. Trump's executive orders have activated martial law protocols. The Federal Reserve has been seized. Fiat currency is dead. The quantum financial system is now live and was gold-backed. Unhackable. Unstoppable. Trump's global military alliance has taken control and executing precision strikes across every continent. Underground tunnels, cloning labs, child trafficking routes, all being obliterated. Trump's Operation Liberty Shield has launched 20,000-plus troops that were deployed globally. Raids have occurred in NYC, Atlanta, Rome, Geneva, and Tel Aviv. High-speed rail tunnels built by Lockheed and NATO that were used to traffic children, were now destroyed. On Monday, April 28, 2025, Navy SEALs stormed an underground dump tunnel near Area 51. Over 1,200 children were rescued from cages, tortured MKUltra victims. Organ harvesting, DNA tampering and biowarfare experiments, all exposed. On Wednesday, April 30, 2025, Trump-loyal German units raided BND-HQ in Berlin. Documents revealed child trafficking, WEF back channels, and blackmail files with names the media will never speak. On Thursday, May 1, 2025, Navy SEALs breached a hidden base in Antarctica. Inside, cloning vats, cryo tanks, hormone harvesting, Pfizer and Moderna biotech logos everywhere. Simultaneously, the 1,500-mile Vatican tunnel that ran to Jerusalem and Switzerland was raided. They found satanic decorated chambers, gold-lined vaults, blood-soaked robes and elite payment ledgers tied to satanic child sacrifices. Well-known politicians, celebs and royals were all implicated. Back in the U.S. under the Obama/Biden administrations, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, had imprisoned over 500,000 migrant children into slavery with NGOs tied to Soros, Clinton and foreign intelligence fronts. Many ended up in underground bunkers, organ harvesting rings and elite compounds shielded by diplomatic immunity. Recently, Trump's global military alliance rescued over 14,000 of those children from the underground tunnel systems that ran beneath cities like Chicago, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. From the evidence gained, military cyber teams decrypted 5 petabytes of dark web blockchain. They found that Zuckerberg funded black markets, Bezos ran human cargo logistics and Gates financed AI-run child auctions, all under the guise of charity fronts, and all were now busted. Over 500,000 sealed indictments were now actively being served. Gitmo has expanded X5. Public tribunals have begun in Nevada, Texas, and Alaska. Executions were on their way. Public announcement of the activation of the emergency broadcast system was imminent. We were witnessing the fall of the media, banks and elite, along with their demonic empire. Every screen across the globe will soon broadcast the truth. This was it. No more warnings. No more illusions. The children were being avenged. The traitors would burn. The storm was now, Deep State exposed on Telegram, Tuesday, May 6, 2025. Tuesday, May 6, 2025, military GCR, Trump, 200 generals, and the final takedown of the globalist empire. GCR is no longer a theory, it's a military operation in full swing. Warning, the TRB products were believed to be a scam. Recent posts on Telegram offering Doge payoffs for the TRB products were also believed to be a scam. I have never supported them and neither has President Trump. Trump's attorney has indicated they were looking into the TRB product scam and have 2 separate FBI and police investigations open on them. A. What we think we know as of Wednesday, May 7, 2025, what happens next? 1. Phase 3 of the reset enters forced disclosure mode. 2. Media blackouts will expand to prevent false flag distractions. 3. A coordinated currency stabilization protocol will be deployed through BRICS and select U.S. Treasury channels. 4. Public revelations about suppressed technologies, including Tesla energy patents and advanced regeneration chambers, are imminent. For decades, the Vatican served as the spiritual control center of the New World Order, a state, a bank, a blackmail archive that laundered money, trafficking intel and protected the world's dirtiest elites. Trump retrieved 650 plane loads of stolen U.S. gold out of the Vatican tunnel, and now the Vatican Bank, a globalist weapon, was no longer sovereign. For years, it funneled billions, hid black budget operations, and sheltered deep state paymasters. The Vatican archives also held blackmail files, secrets that control presidents, kings, and billionaires. From child trafficking to cartel dealings, those files aren't history, they're leverage. Now Trump had them under his possession and the entire deep state structure was compromised. On Tuesday, May 6, 2025, Trump and team took down the CIA. On Tuesday, May 6, 2025, RFK Jr. reported that HHS under Biden collaborated with traffickers. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, handed children to unvetted names with fake signatures. NGOs tied to Soros, Clinton, and foreign intelligence fronts, no oversight, no justice, no accountability. Children were delivered into slavery. Many ended up in underground bunkers, organ harvesting rings, and elite compounds shielded by diplomatic immunity. Trump's military task forces have recently rescued over 14,000 children from tunnel systems under cities like Chicago, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. 143 traffickers have been neutralized. Tuesday, May 6, 2025, FEMA was an autonomous institution that has sought to enslave and subjugate patriots since the Clinton era. When thrones of FEMA goons arrived in Florida following Hurricane Michael in 2018 to terrorize dispossessed citizens, White Hats repelled the FEMA invasion. Just this year, Marines kicked FEMA marauders out of Kentucky after a biblical flood inundated entire communities. RRN has published over 140 articles detailing FEMA's criminality, including a dozen on the military versus FEMA battle for Maui in 2023. White Hat leadership has repeatedly asked Trump to abolish FEMA, but the president has yet to heed their advice. Marines raid FEMA training center, seize massive armory. Tuesday, May 6, 2025, almost 12,000 teenagers, aged 12 to 17, have been treated with puberty blockers or pro-trans counseling by Planned Parenthood, which receives $700,000 a year of U.S. taxpayer monies in order to function. On Tuesday, May 6, 2025, U.S. Director for National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirmed that U.S.-funded biological weapons laboratories have been operating in Ukraine, and said Dr. Anthony Fauci perjured himself multiple times when he was asked if the U.S. government funded research that may have caused the COVID-19 pandemic. Monday, April 14, 2025. Over the weekend, Trump signed executive orders that officially dismantled the CIA, with black sites shuttered, assets frozen and high-level operatives either detained or fleeing. The NSA, DHS and FBI face the same chopping block. Elon Musk's DOGE task force found CIA front companies interfering with elections, funding riots, manufacturing viruses, trafficking children, and silencing whistleblowers worldwide, all under the mask of national security. Possible timing. On Tuesday, April 1, 2025, 27 military-protected medbed hubs became operational. The general public starts medbed treatments in May 2025, prioritizing veterans, children and the vaccine injured. As of Thursday, May 1, 2025, the fiat banking system was dead. The media, lying. The cabal's grip, broken. Redemption centers, active and gold-backed funds were being distributed globally through the quantum financial system, QFS, the final weapon in a military war against centuries of elite rule. Over the weekend, Trump signed the final executive order to dismantle the CIA, with black sites shuttered, assets frozen and high-level operatives either detained or fleeing. The morning of Tuesday, May 6, 2025 at 3 a.m. Obama's shadow office in D.C. was raided. Sources say classified materials linked to Ukraine, Iran, and Epstein were seized. Wednesday, May 7, 2025, Canada to test EBS at times specific to time zone. Alberta at 1:55 p.m. British Columbia 1:55 p.m. Wednesday, 7th of May, Trump scheduled to make big announcement 11 a.m. EST. Thursday 8th of May EBS activation, restored Republican 10 days of exposure begin. On Friday, May 9, 2025 emergency alert system to shut off internet worldwide. Saturday, June 14, 2025, President Trump will host a military parade on his birthday, June 14, to celebrate the Army's 250th anniversary and honor active duty service members and veterans. See Global Currency Reset, Twos. May 6, 2025 A small bank in Alabama has suspended services from Thursday 8 of May to Monday 12 of May, saying customers will then be able to access a new digital platform. Jordan Clark on X. Twos. May 6, 2025, Reset in motion. The U.S. debt clock just revealed the reset. Trump is holding the keys and signing executive orders they won't talk about. Twos. May 6, 2025 The big call. Bruce, a high-up source with Wells Fargo, said Tier 4B, us, the internet group, could get 800s sometime between now and Thursday, May 8, 2025, and then immediately begin our appointments. Another source said something was to occur by tomorrow morning 11 a.m. EST. A source said that there was going to be a major announcement on Wednesday, May 7, 2025. On Twos. May 6, 2025 Newsmax reported President Trump saying, "In the next few days there's going to be an earth-shattering announcement that will affect America and its people." A source said there would be a major announcement on Wednesday 7th of May, so get ready for Thursday, May 8, 2025, meaning we could be notified and exchange on Thursday. Doge payments, $4,000 to $5,000, to go out this week and next week. Increases in SS payments to go out during May. Redemption centers to be open through the end of this month of May. If you have Zim and were unable to redeem it in May, Wells Fargo will be able to redeem it in June. If you have Zim and have a project, you can still get the contract rate on dinar, but you have to ask for it. The screen rate is very high on the dinar. Twos. May 6, 2025, A2Z Dreams. On Saturday, April 26, 2025, Iraq entered into an Article 8 agreement with the IMF, after which they had 10 days to fully commit to revaluing the IQD and show the public rate on the Forex. The banks in Japan and South Korea were closed until Wednesday 7th of May. On Monday 5th of May, Sadani had a meeting with heads of all banks. The following morning, Twos. 6th of May at 7 a.m. Baghdad time, a text was sent out telling people to bring in their dinar to the banks for a higher guaranteed purchasing power rate. This caused traffic jams and lines on the streets to form. On Twos. 6th of May, my policeman friend in Baghdad confirmed that the rate that TNT shared was close to what a long-time friend shared after he met with his neighbor who went to his bank with a suitcase of dinar. He came home with a new MasterCard that would be active on the morning of Thursday 8th of May. D2s. May 6, 2025 QFS replaces Fiat, military now controls your money, Steve Bannon on Telegram. As of May 1, 2025, the Fiat banking system is dead. The media is lying. The cabal's grip is broken. Redemption centers are active, and gold-backed funds are being distributed globally through the quantum financial system, QFS, the final weapon in a military war against centuries of elite rule. The banks are panicking. They're freezing accounts, blocking transfers, shutting down over 12,000 branches in 30 days. Why? Because they've been cut off from the QFS. This isn't economics, it's war. Since Trump signed the gold directive in January, underground vaults have been seized from Vatican properties, NATO bases, MI6 bunkers, and elite estates. Inside, off-ledger gold, ancient tech, biometric blackmail, human trafficking records, all now secured under QFS control. 1 vault beneath London's financial district held unregistered gold and child biometric data tied to occult finance rituals. That gold now backs the USTN, and only redemption centers, secured by military satellite grids, can distribute it. Every QFS transaction is verified by quantum biometric encryption. No cabal trick can bypass it. No dark account is hidden. No bloodline safe is untouched. The elite are exposed. Rlust and XRP are the only authorized digital assets. Rlust is biometric linked and gold-backed. XRP moves the wealth instantly. SWIFT, ACH, and the entire Fiat web are dead code. That's why Ripple leaders were targeted for assassination. It failed. The deep state is striking back. Failed EMP blasts, virus smuggling, and fake Trump arrest footage are part of their last push. They want to keep you from claiming what's yours. Middle. Don't let them. Your redemption appointment is your freedom. Your R&R payout is coming, reparations for stolen pensions, IRS theft, pharma crimes, and more. QFS is here to restore your wealth, your identity, and your sovereignty. Middle. This is the collapse of a satanic empire. Get to your redemption center. Claim what's yours. The war is almost over. Global financial crisis. E2s. May 6, 2025. The old system dies here. Gold. RV. Basel III. QFS on Telegram. The illusion is over. The final breath of the fiat empire is fading, and in its place, a new architecture of wealth is taking shape, silent, unstoppable, and rooted in truth. Gold has been restored as a Tier 1 asset. Basel III is active. RV is real. The quantum financial system is alive. Together, these forces are not theories. They are the pillars of a reset the elites cannot control, and it has already begun. Middle. While the media distracts and the central banks panic print their way toward oblivion, the foundation of the new world economy is being laid in full view. Gold, once mocked as a relic, is now recognized as the ultimate store of value, legally equal to cash under Basel III protocols. Its intrinsic worth is unshakable. Banks know it. Governments know it. And they're all rushing to stockpile what they once denied. This is not nostalgia. This is survival. Middle. At the same time, the long-whispered RV, the global revaluation of currency based on real assets, is accelerating. Once dismissed as conspiracy, it's now backed by quiet moves among sovereign nations, wealth funds, and energy-rich states aligning their currencies to gold, oil, and tangible resources. As fake paper currencies begin to wobble, suppressed currencies like the Iraqi dinar and Zimbabwean dollar are being re-examined through an entirely new lens. This isn't about overnight wealth. It's about global fairness, recalibrating value to reflect reality, not manipulation. Middle. Basel III is the enforcement arm. It forces banks to comply with hard rules, real assets over imaginary credit, transparency over fraud. The hidden games of shadow finance are ending because Basel III makes it illegal to hide behind derivatives and debt. It's not optional. It's mandatory. And it's already bleeding through the balance sheets of corrupt institutions worldwide. Middle. And then comes QFS, the digital backbone of it all. Powered by quantum tech, immune to fraud, traceable in real time, and entirely asset-backed. This system doesn't just patch holes in the old framework. It replaces it. QFS ensures every transaction is clean, verified, and incorruptible. No more dark money. No more double books. The black budget parasites are being flushed out, and they know it. That's why they fear this moment. Because for the first time in modern history, truth has become the most valuable currency on earth. Restored Republic. F2s. May 6, 2025. EBS activation, return to Restored Republic, banks crash, Nizar/Jazara release, 10 days of broadcasts worldwide to expose the Satan-worshipping cabal, Charlie Ward and friends on Telegram. Middle. With central banks across the world collapsing, J.P. Morgan predicting a huge U.S. stock market crash, with bank runs imminent, and since the cabal's gold stolen from the people has already been seized by President Trump's global military alliance, now Trump has commanded that the final stage of the plan activate, meaning that the emergency broadcast system would go live worldwide. Middle. Expected to accompany that EBS activation was an announcement about Trump's return under the Restored Republic, along with JFK Jr. as his vice president. This would include the launch of Nizar/Jazara debt relief for citizens of the world, which meant debt would be erased for the people, wealth restored, plus everyone would have access to technologies the elites have tried to bury forever. Middle. All this was set to be followed and explained through 10 days of worldwide broadcasts designed to expose the crimes of Satan worshipping, child-sacrificing pedophile deep state politicians and global elites, along with their arrests and military tribunals. Trust the plan. Stay vigilant. Be prepared. My fellow Americans, what you are about to go through will be very painful. G2s. May 6, 2025. The global reset enters the enforcement phase, elites flee as White Hat coalition seize control, SG Anon on Telegram. Middle. Following the collapse of negotiations and the activation of Protocol 88, the military coalitions behind the global currency reset have begun full-spectrum enforcement operations targeting remaining resistance cells within the old financial and political structures. Sources from within the Russian FSB and Chinese MSS confirm that former IMF executives, central bank governors, and top NATO officials have been placed under protective detention pending tribunal indictments. Multiple Rothschild estates in Austria, France, and the UK have been abandoned overnight. Surveillance drones captured aircraft departing to undisclosed South American jungles, now tracked in real time by Space Force assets. Meanwhile, Japan's top 3 banking houses are in emergency talks following asset freezes linked to child trafficking foundations masquerading as educational charities. At the center of the scandal, cross-border accounts connecting the Bank of Japan, UBS, and Goldman Sachs with black-budget arms contractors and human experimentation labs in Ukraine and Sudan. In the U.S., federal agencies have been split. White-hat-aligned agents within the FBI, DHS, and NSA are actively dismantling deep state operations, while rogue elements continue sabotage efforts, including recent attempts to disable quantum financial system nodes in Dallas and Frankfurt. Both attacks failed. The Vatican's silence has turned into panic. Over a dozen senior cardinals have vanished, and satellite footage shows unusual activity beneath the catacombs. Swiss Guard officers have begun cooperating with investigators. This marks the first time in history that high-ranking clergy are offering full confessions regarding ritual abuse networks. What happens next? Phase 3 of the reset enters forced disclosure mode. Media blackouts will expand to prevent false flag distractions. A coordinated currency stabilization protocol will be deployed through BRICS and select U.S. Treasury channels. Public revelations about suppressed technologies, including Tesla energy patents and advanced regeneration chambers, are imminent. The global elite are no longer in control of the timeline. The White Hat alliances. Prepare for the next broadcast. The tribunals are coming, and nothing will stop the truth now. H2s. May 6, 2025, Emergency Report, Global Military on High Alert, Operation White Swan goes live, WH Grandpa on Telegram. We've entered the final combat phase of Operation White Swan. Military forces worldwide are now at DEFCON 2. Running continuous operations against cartel militias, deep state escape networks, and human trafficking routes. Secret tribunals are expanding, Gitmo is overflowing, and EBS activation is now confirmed between May 7 to 20th, pending total mission security. The Quantum Financial System, QFS, is live in 89 nations. Public debt forgiveness pilots have quietly begun, while gold confiscations and deep state banking collapses escalate behind closed doors. GCR is progressing, but the final switch is guarded by cyber and kinetic threats. Space Force, NSA, and Army Cyber Command remain on full intercept to neutralize sabotage efforts targeting the post-reset rollout. Meanwhile, the southern U.S. border is a war zone. Mexican cartels, backed by decades of CIA Black Ops funding, are being used as shock troops by the dying deep state. Suicide raids, underground tunnel detonations, and lethal force engagements are active in Texas, Arizona, and California. Entire regions are under military lockdown. Reports of booms and lights at night are not anomalies, they're signs of the ongoing battlefield. Global red zones remain hot: France, Germany, Argentina, South Africa, and Antarctica. Space-based weapons have been seized and reactivated by alliance forces, ensuring no orbital escape for elite operatives. High-value targets, politicians, bankers, judges, media figures, are either captured, tribunal-bound, or flagged for immediate extraction. Gitmo capacity has tripled, and offshore tribunals now run 24/7. The EBS is armed and ready. Once the green light is issued, all networks will be seized, all devices will stream truth feeds, and the public will witness history in real time. No mistakes. No delays. This is the final threshold. Brace for impact, the storm is not coming. It's here. Wars and rumors of wars, twos. May 6, 2025 breaking, President Trump just announced that the United States will stop the bombings of the Houthis in Yemen, effective immediately, after they called and conceded defeat. The Houthis have announced to us at least that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight. And we will honor that. And we will stop the bombings. And they have capitulated. Donald Trump Jr. on Telegram. Twos. May 6, 2025 Israel has bombed Yemen. Twos. May 6, 2025 Pakistan and India were in missile skirmishes. POTUS reacts to India's airstrikes into Pakistan. We just heard about it as we were walking through the doors of the Oval. They've been fighting for a long time. I just hope it ends very quickly. J. The real news for Tues. May 6, 2025, Tues. May 6, 2025, Trump promises big announcement. On Wednesday, May 7, 2025, there will be a big announcement for millions of Americans. Medicare, Medicaid removed, Tues. May 6, 2025, Nina Rodriguez, a Gitmo list, they go all to tribunal. Tues. May 6, 2025, Hitler arrested the Rothschild in Germany in 1933, Austria in 1938, and France in 1940, and seized their assets. By taking Germany out of the Rothschild-owned banking system, he transformed Germany into a superpower. The Rothschild family had attempted to infiltrate America through its banking system from the day America was formed. They were blocked by President Andrew Jackson, but ultimately were able to gain control through the passing of the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. Mike Wallace on Telegram Tues. May 6, 2025, breaking, chaos at U.S. universities, Soros funds the flames as Antifa torches campus life. Tues. May 6, 2025, breaking, $21 trillion stolen, secret underground cities, DUMB bases, built for the elite. Tues. May 6, 2025, full exposure, the military is broken. Pete Hegseth is right, we need more GIs, not more generals, Trump, Hegseth and the Combat Code. Tues. May 6, 2025, join me on another red pill journey, Biden, Epstein and human cloning, how deep is the rabbit hole? Enjoy the show. Tues. May 6, 2025, Trump bombshell that would end Justice Roberts' career, Tues. May 6, 2025, Fox News, when he was U.S. President, Barack Obama ordered that Hillary Clinton was not to be prosecuted. Saturday, June 14, 2025, President Trump will host a military parade on his birthday, June 14, to celebrate the Army's 250th anniversary and honor active duty service members and veterans. Tues. May 6, 2025, Tucker Carlson, former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under H.W. Bush, Catherine Austin Fitts, says the U.S. government has funneled $21 trillion into a secret underground city where the rich and powerful can shelter in the event of a near-extinction event. Tues. May 6, 2025, Jag hangs former Coast Guard Commandant Linda Fagan. Wednesday 7th of May 4 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. UK time, update on the Roman conclave to pick a new pope with Kevin and Ed on the Sean Atwood Show, Part 2. International child sex trafficking, organ and adrenochrome harvesting ring run out of the Vatican and housed in China's Three Gorges Dam in a tunnel that eventually connects to a 1,500-mile-long tunnel that runs between the Vatican and Jerusalem. In 2014, unmarked mass graves belonging to Irish orphans were discovered. These graves belonged to a group of 2051 children on which an early and dangerous diphtheria vaccine was covertly tested on in the 1930s. Tues. May 6, 2025, Bondi and Cash deserve credit, they just took down a global pedophile cult, Julian Assange on Telegram. Pam Bondi and Cash Patel aren't getting nearly enough recognition for what may be one of the most significant child exploitation takedowns in recent history, the arrests of the leaders behind the network known as 764 Inferno. This wasn't just another online predator ring. 764 Inferno was a highly organized, international nihilistic violent extremist (NVE) group, deeply entrenched in the production and global distribution of child sexual abuse material, CSAM. Their crimes went beyond exploitation, they engaged in psychological torture, coercing children to perform on camera, carve symbols into their skin, and even mutilate themselves. These monsters didn't stop there. They groomed victims, threatened them, and forced them into abusing animals, harming their siblings, and producing more material under threat. The scale and cruelty of this operation is beyond comprehension. The DOJ's full report is linked below, but be warned, the contents are deeply disturbing. Yet despite this major victory, Bondi and Cash have received little to no public credit. While people still obsess over Epstein, whose network has long been dormant, these two just took down an active, satanic pedophile cult, operating right now, in real time, on the digital front lines. So let's be clear, Bondi and Cash are doing the work that matters. They are hunting real threats, dismantling live operations, and protecting children from unspeakable evil. Maybe it's time we stop criticizing them, and start acknowledging the war they're fighting on behalf of those who cannot defend themselves. M2s. May 6, 2025 breaking, 500,000 children gone, Trump and RFK Jr. strike back, Kash Patel on Telegram. As of May 3, 2025, America is no longer a country. It's a battlefield. The Biden regime lost track of 500,000 children, and it wasn't by accident. This was a coordinated trafficking operation, run through HHS, protected by fake sponsors, and covered up by DOJ raids on whistleblowers. RFK Jr. has dropped the bombshell. HHS under Biden collaborated with traffickers. Not speculation, confirmation. Children weren't lost. They were delivered into slavery. Many ended up in underground bunkers, organ harvesting rings, and elite compounds shielded by diplomatic immunity. Trump's military task forces are now striking back. Over 14,000 children have already been rescued from tunnel systems under cities like Chicago, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. 143 traffickers have been neutralized. And the worst is yet to be revealed. These are not isolated incidents. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, handed children to unvetted names with fake signatures. NGOs tied to Soros, Clinton, and foreign intelligence fronts receive these kids, no oversight, no justice, no accountability. RFK Jr. is now inside. As Trump's strategic health secretary, he's exposing classified records. The elite are panicking. Democrats like Schiff and Warren are scrambling to deflect blame. But it's too late. This is the final phase. The emergency broadcast system is locked and loaded. Biden hasn't been seen in weeks. Rumors say he's hiding under Vatican protection in Switzerland while the cabal prepares a false flag cyber attack to silence the truth. But the storm is here. And it won't be stopped. 300,000 plus children vanished. No trial. No outrage. No media coverage. That ends now. The reckoning has begun. Trump's forces are in motion. RFK is sounding the alarm. The world will never be the same. N2s. May 6, 2025 Planned Parenthood is quickly becoming one of the #1 providers of puberty blockers to teenagers in America, JFK Awakening 17 on Telegram. Almost 12,000 teenagers, aged 12 to 17, have been treated with puberty blockers or pro-trans counseling by Planned Parenthood. I guess after the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the consequential closure of Planned Parenthood abortion clinics all over the country, the company hit the drawing board and asked, how can we make up for this loss of revenue? The answer, it turns out, was pretty simple. And as a result, to date, almost 12,000 teenagers, aged 12 to 17, have been treated, I hate even using that word, with puberty blockers or pro-trans counseling by Planned Parenthood. More often than not, with zero history of gender dysphoria and no actual medical diagnostic process. Stories of detransitioners like Helena Kirshner are starting to expose just how bad Planned Parenthood's counseling actually is. This beautiful young woman walked into a Planned Parenthood clinic, and in less than an hour, she was given 4x the typical starting dose of testosterone hormone replacement therapy by a nurse practitioner. Less than an hour. Pat Catterson, another young woman, less than an hour, expected that she would have to go through some sort of diagnostic process, but instead called a doctor from Planned Parenthood for 30 minutes on the phone and was given a prescription for testosterone. 30 minutes. When you also consider that Planned Parenthood is probably the #1 author of sex ed curriculum in our country today, influencing millions upon millions of young men and women in conversations about gender identity at school every day. How are people not realizing this is literally just a pyramid scheme to indoctrinate kids into thinking I was born in the wrong body, to call these clinics on the phone for half an hour, and to be given prescriptions of these drugs from Planned Parenthood themselves? This organization receives $700 million from the United States government taxpayer money every single year. Turns out, you can destroy the family in a whole lot more ways than just abortion, and this organization is committed to figuring out how to do. Monday, April 14, 2025, Trump has eliminated the CIA, NSA, DHS, FBI on chopping block while Deep State is in free fall. JFK Awakening Q17 on Telegram. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The noose around the Deep State's neck just tightened, and Trump's enemies are panicking. The CIA has officially been dismantled. Middle. Inside sources confirm, the final executive order was signed in secret over the weekend, with black sites shuttered, assets frozen, and high-level operatives either detained or fleeing. This isn't a reorganization. It's a decapitation. And it's not just the CIA. The NSA, DHS, and FBI are all on the chopping block, with internal purges sweeping through every agency tied to the shadow government. Middle. Elon Musk's DOGE task force has initiated a full-spectrum data purge, tracing decades of illegal surveillance, foreign psyops, and election interference. What they've uncovered is darker than anything we imagined: CIA front companies funding riots, manufacturing viruses, trafficking children, and silencing whistleblowers worldwide, all under the mask of national security. Middle. The agency that killed Kennedy, sabotaged Trump, and installed puppets from Bush to Biden is now being bled dry. Military tribunals are active. Thousands of sealed indictments are being unsealed. Flights out of Langley have been grounded. The command structure has collapsed. Middle. Former spooks are turning on each other. A rogue unit attempted to breach a DoD data vault in Colorado but was neutralized by Space Force assets. Yes, you read that right, Space Force is fully activated. Their mission: prevent CIA-backed globalist forces from launching false flags to cover their retreat. Middle. Trump is executing a domestic version of Operation Gladio, using intelligence warfare to destroy the deep state from within. Biden has been silent. Kamala has vanished. And Obama's shadow office in D.C. was raided at 3 a.m. this morning. No word yet on arrests, but sources say classified materials linked to Ukraine, Iran, and Epstein were seized. This is it. The intel war is going hot. The CIA is dead. The deep state is cornered. The reckoning has begun. P2s. May 6, 2025. Kash Patel on X and Telegram. I'd encourage everyone to read about the Violent 764 network and how the FBI is working with local law enforcement to fight back. It's deeply disturbing, but critically important to understand what's out there and be aware of the threats American kids and families are facing every day. The criminals in these networks use online platforms to target vulnerable kids, coerce victims, and recruit others, often resulting in horrible cases of abuse. It is absolutely tragic, and I want people to know we're cracking down hard. Remember, last week we announced our agents and partners arrested 2 alleged leaders within 764. We've opened hundreds of cases around the country and our field offices are fully engaged. This is a priority for myself, FBI, DFD, Bongino and our leadership team. Those who come after America's children will face justice. We will be relentless in pursuing them. We hope to have more updates very soon. Thank you to our teams and partners who are treating this issue with the gravity it deserves and working around the clock to protect children. Kash Patel X. Q2s. May 6, 2025. Steve Bannon on Telegram. A January 6 political prisoner says he was kept for 4 years without trial because they wanted me to do a false statement about Roger Stone and how he made me go there and everything else. They actually offered me no charges at one point if I would do this false statement about Roger Stone and how he made me go there, and because I have a buddy that is like that with Roger Stone. It's disgusting what the United States government did. Bannon, he was offered no charges if he agreed to lie. I have 5,000 pages of documentation. I've put it out there on open source. Anyone can read it. It shows torture of pretrial American citizens. Democrats wouldn't let January 6 defendants have trials unless they lied to further their narrative. R2s. May 6, 2025. Tulsi Gabbard exposes Fauci's Ukraine biolabs as adrenochrome factories, EBS on Telegram. For years, they told us it was all a conspiracy theory, a wild fantasy with no basis in reality. US-funded biolabs in Ukraine. Nonsense, they said. Adrenochrome doesn't exist, they said. But now the truth is clawing its way to the surface. Middle. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, alongside Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has just blown the lid off one of the most chilling cover-ups of our time. The US-funded biolabs in Ukraine weren't just real, they were key players in a covert global operation that played a role in unleashing the COVID pandemic. But it doesn't stop there. Middle. Under the leadership of a former NIH director Anthony Fauci, these facilities were trafficking something far darker, high-grade medical adrenochrome, obtained via experimentation and torture on young children, and distributing it through a network that reaches into the highest echelons of power. S-COVID/vax/Ebola/swine flu/polio/smallpox/BSE, Zika/SARS/monkeypox/AIDS/vax/H1N1/graphene oxide/chemtrails/fluoride, processed foods, human clones hoaxes. Middle.2s. May 6, 2025 RFK Jr., part of the responsibility of being a parent is to not trust everything your doctor says. Doctors have been co-opted by the medical cartel. The medical schools are now run by pharmaceutical companies. Pediatricians who vaccinate 80 or 85% of the kids in their office get these giant bonuses. You know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Making sure that 85% of the kids are vaccinated. And that's why they throw you out of the office if you fight back. It's not because they care so much about your particular kid. It's that you'll lose them their bonuses. And so your job in a democracy is to do your own research. And that's hard to do, but you need to do it to protect your child. RFK Jr. on Telegram. Middle.2s. May 6, 2025, Florida declares state of emergency as mRNA vax deaths reach critical levels, medbeds. Middle.2s. May 6, 2025, bombshell. First medbeds 5D setup, the incredible new tech they don't want you to know. Hidden truth about future healing. T2s. May 6, 2025 how medbeds really work. The zero-point engine in your DNA as a signal receiver, QFS on Telegram. Zero-point energy, ZPE, the fuel of the future. Zero-point energy isn't a theory, it's physics fact. It's the baseline vibration of the vacuum, a sea of energy pulsing everywhere, even in total darkness. Every inch of space is filled with it. Your body swims in it right now. The vacuum is not empty. It's seething with energy, Richard Feynman. So why don't we use it? Because accessing and controlling ZPE requires quantum resonance, something classical tech can't do. But medbed tech? That's a whole different story. How medbeds tap ZPE. ZPE feeds the body not with electricity, but with coherence, restoring order to damaged or aging systems. Quantum field coils generate a high-frequency toroidal field that couples with ZPE. This creates a non-local energy well, a bubble of energetic abundance surrounding the patient. No batteries. No wires. No limit. Just direct energy from the quantum vacuum, tuned to biological repair frequencies. DNA, your biological antenna. Now for the wild part, your DNA is a fractal antenna, tuned to both EM and scalar frequencies. This isn't fantasy. In 2011, Russian biophysicist Peter Garyaev demonstrated that DNA can be reprogrammed with laser light and language. So yeah, your body has firmware. And it can be updated. It absorbs, transmits, and stores vibrational information. It doesn't just code proteins, it reacts to intention, light, sound, and frequency. In medbeds, quantum AIs read your DNA's energetic state, then send harmonic signals to remind it of its ideal form. The full loop, a perfect feedback system. Not just healing, upgrading. Scan the DNA's energetic distortions. Feed the body with zero-point coherence. Correct the biofield with harmonic light and sound. Rebuild the body from the inside out. They told you healing was external. It's not. Your body is a quantum receiver. Medbeds just remove the noise so the original signal can come through. The future of medicine is frequency. And your body already knows the song. Get ready, the future of healing is closer than you think. U2s. May 6, 2025 breaking, Trump's papal strike, the Vatican has fallen. Nizar and Jazar on Telegram. This was never a meme. It was a warning. When Trump appeared in papal robes, the media laughed. The elites didn't. They knew exactly what it meant. The deep state's holiest command post had been breached. The Vatican's gold is no longer safe. The throne no longer sacred. And the secrets, they're exposed. This was psychological warfare, and Trump fired the first shot. For decades, the Vatican served as the spiritual control center of the New World Order. Not just a church, a state, a bank, a blackmail archive. A fortress cloaked in holiness while laundering money, trafficking intel, and protecting the world's dirtiest elites. Trump's 2017 visit to the Vatican wasn't ceremonial. It was strategic. That handshake with the Pope wasn't respect, it was dominance. From there, royals collapsed, regimes shifted, and now, the symbol of conquest has gone public. The papal image wasn't just parody, It was a coded declaration: "I've taken the throne." Middle. The Vatican Bank, a globalist weapon, is no longer sovereign. For years, it funneled billions, hid black budget operations, and sheltered deep state paymasters. But that era just ended. Trump's symbolism sends a message clearer than words: the world's most powerful religious financial institution is now under new management. Middle. Even more terrifying. The Vatican archives. Beyond the gold, behind the vaults, lie blackmail files, secrets that control presidents, kings, and billionaires. From child trafficking to cartel dealings, those files aren't history, they're leverage. If Trump has accessed them, the entire deep state structure is now compromised. Middle. This isn't cosplay. This is conquest. While the sheep laugh, the wolves panic. He has the gold. He has the secrets. He has the throne. The Vatican has fallen, and the world doesn't even know it yet. V2s. May 6, 2025, they've been doing this to children for 80 years, Nizar and Jazar on Telegram. The fake US government hasn't just failed the people, it has slaughtered and tortured innocent children for over 80 years. And every president who covered it up is complicit in treason. Middle. Since the 1940s, US Incorporated brought in Nazi mind control experts under Operation Paperclip. What followed was a decades-long reign of CIA-run horror programs, MKUltra, radiation experiments, torture, murder, and child sex trafficking. Middle. By the 1970s, Congress already had evidence. Hearings revealed unspeakable crimes against children. But instead of arrests, there was a cover-up. Those hearings were buried. The victims who testified are all dead. The pattern: expose the truth, end up dead. Middle. In 1995, 3 women who survived CIA satanic ritual abuse and child experimentation testified before Congress. They described how Congress was blackmailed with recordings of child torture and murder. Nothing happened. All 3 women died mysteriously. Middle. It was President Trump, not the deep state, who finally exposed part of this. His chemtrail task force revealed a DARPA plan to kill 170 million Americans. His efforts to locate 300,000+ missing border children blocked by Biden's DHS. No one knows where those kids went. Middle. Ashley Babbitt, a patriot and veteran, was executed inside the Capitol on January 6, 2021. She was unarmed. Her killer, Lieutenant Michael Byrd, protected by the regime. In May 2025, Trump gave her family a settlement. But the killer walks free. Middle. The Obama/Biden/Clinton/Pelosi White House. Named in a pedophile ring. WikiLeaks exposed the emails. Julian Assange blew the whistle. A 5-year-old boy trafficked to the White House. He'll make the perfect catamite for the president. That's the level of evil we're dealing with. Middle. Hollywood. Congress. The Vatican. The CCP. All linked through tunnels, DUMBs, and a CIA-funded global child trafficking network. Biden's Water Island. Epstein's Island. Tunnels under D.C. Tunnels under the White House. Middle. No one has been arrested. No one has been stopped. The media is silent. The government is complicit. The CIA still runs these operations today. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a national emergency. And we're running out of time. The storm isn't coming. It's here. W2s. May 6, 2025. Bill Gates planning to build a smart city in Arizona called Belmont. He's already spent over $80 million buying 25,000 acres. Cue into the storm on Telegram. Judy note: the same thing happened in Lahaina, Maui and Pacific Palisades, Los Angeles, California. They destroy the homes and land, try to buy the land up at cheap prices and then plan to build their smart cities where the cabal has complete control over residents. Middle. News reports are now reporting increased risk of wildfires in the exact same area and insurance companies are canceling policies. Middle. Can't make this stuff up. So Bill Gates wants to build a smart city in Arizona called Belmont. He spent over $80 million buying 25,000 acres in an area west of Phoenix and west of Buckeye along with other far-left billionaire. Middle. Coincidentally, now there's been an increased risk of wildfires in the areas surrounding the proposed sites. And you guessed it, now insurance companies are starting to cancel wildfire policies in the areas. Sounds familiar to something else, Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just giving you some facts.